Hey everybody, I'm in the middle of an intense rehearsal schedule now to remount A Connecticut Christmas Carol at good speed, so there's no regular episode this week. But since I spent all last week in Toronto workshopping a new show, I wanted to talk with you all about what that process is like. I love doing these readings. Typically, the talent level is very high because the time commitment for the actors is relatively low, and actors enjoy the opportunity of creating a role and getting involved with the piece on the ground floor. Similarly for me, there's a decent chance that the music director will be taken along as the show progresses, especially if he or she contributes any arrangements or incidental music, which is often the case. I've been lucky enough to music direct probably over a dozen so-called 29-hour readings, from Persephone Unplugged, now in performances under the title Mythic in London, to Come From Away, literally playing everywhere, to others that I may never hear from again. It's a mixed bag. The 29 hours isn't the amount of time the reading takes start to finish, but rather the total number of hours that equity actors are allowed to spend on these low-budget workshops, as specified by their union. Actors' Equity also stipulates that they can't perform in costume or with any real staging or choreography. Because of these limitations, stage directions are often read to fill in the gaps that props, set pieces, or movement may have otherwise clarified. In certain cases, an additional actor might even be hired to serve as a reader. Other times, the stage directions might be read by a director, the book writer, a stage manager, or even split up among members of the cast. For my show last week, we didn't have any stage directions read, which isn't necessarily a good or bad thing, it just depends on the piece. For these readings, you can expect changes, and a lot of them. If something's not working, the librettist will do a rewrite, or the producers might suggest one, or the director. Depending on the dynamic in the room, the actors may have thoughts too which find their way into the script. By the end of the 29 hours, every page of the script or the score might be different, and that's a luxury that's unique to this format. So this is what a score to a workshop production looks like. Lots of handwritten notes, lots of changed cue lines, indications for modulation or internal vamps, lyric changes as you can see over here, annotations almost on every page. And so it's my responsibility to track these throughout the day and then come home and put them in the score at night so they get some fresh ink the following day. Typically, these readings only have a few actors, some music stands, and someone behind the piano, and nothing is memorized. Quite literally, it's called a reading. So if the people are relatively quick on their feet, they can absorb these changes without too much trouble. In full productions, you can't afford that same flexibility because there are so many more moving pieces. Production meetings take place weeks or months before actors even enter the room. Try telling a producer that you'd like to cut the scene at the ball after they've already spent tens of thousands of dollars on elaborate dresses or a giant staircase unit. They might do it, but they're not going to be happy about it. And it may be fairly simple to write a new song for a reading on piano, but when you have a full pit behind you, that cue needs to be orchestrated, formatted, copied, programmed in the keyboards, and rehearsed with an extra band call. That's a lot of time and money. And that's not to say that fully staged productions don't undergo changes. That's what out-of-town tryouts are for, that's what previews are for in general. But it's a whole lot easier to figure it out early, which is why these workshops are so important. For the show I just worked on, Wally Flynn, composer Eli Bolin doesn't notate his own music, so I had the additional task of transcribing the piano vocal score for the actors. Eli and I have actually been collaborators in this way for over a decade now, and I have been a steward for many of his shows, including Found, Skippy John Jones, and Volley Girls. He sends me either a recording or his entire Logic session via Dropbox, and I just write out what I hear, in a program called Finale, the industry standard software for music notation since the early 90s. Many composers, from Harvey Schmidt to Bob Merrill to William Finn, have worked with arrangers and music directors in a similar fashion, and I feel really lucky to be entrusted with this vital role. At the end of the week, the work culminates with a presentation or two for a small invited crowd of producers, investors, and other industry professionals.
Show me the money.
The writers might have a talkback or ask those in attendance to fill out a comment card. And sometimes that's the last you hear of Pink Flamingos the Musical. Or other times you've stumbled onto your next Avenue Q. Very lucky with my setup here. It's a beautiful hotel room, large window with a view of the harbor, and a desk. On the road, my setup is very simple. I just bring my portable MIDI controller, connect it to my laptop, and then I put any changes into Finale and send out fresh PDFs to the stage management to print out the following day. We are at Mervish Studios. It's kind of rustic, but very functional. Some stuff in the corner. Piano that I'm not using. Keyboard situation that I am. Our lovely actors on break. Yeah! And the creative table. Lots of laptops, scripts, lots of things crossed out. This is all paper that used to be script pages that are now scrap paper. Lots of revisions. So this is one of my best buds, Eli Bolin, who did the music.
Hello.
Any thoughts on being in Toronto workshopping this piece?
It's a beautiful city, the 5 or 6 city blocks that I've gotten to see, but it's been a really exciting process getting to work on this new piece. I really love this show, and I love working with Steven. And
Steven is our librettist and co-lyricist, and it was kind of his conception. It's been a pleasure to run through all the changes, and with our wonderful director Daryl, who has been flying back and forth as the artistic director of
the Citadel Theater in Edmonton, other side of the country.
So we will check that out as well. It's been a wonderful process with these 3 gentlemen and our lovely producing team. We are very lucky today. They have a catered lunch for us. Ooh, look at this spread. This is not common for workshop productions, but we will take it. Dessert too. We're on a break. Yay! 2 of our ensemble members. We have Arenia and Joel, both alumni of Sheridan College here in Toronto.
Yes, correct.
They've been wonderful and probably doing the work of what will eventually be 4 ensemble tracks.
You're not wrong.
True.
But we have 6, we're 6 strong here.
Yes.
We probably could afford 2 or 3 more.
Yeah,
But it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And
so
they've-
fun. And you're the best.
We love Dan.
rocks.
Yay! Well, thank you. It's very kind. Since we're in Toronto, we need some Tim Hortons Timbits. They are so much better than Dunkin' Donuts Munchkins, as evidenced by the 2 left that were here for a cast of 6. Cast together time, playing a game on their phones.
Crazy 8.
Crazy 8s, sensible.
Oh, it's mine.
If you have any questions about 29-hour readings, let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, have a great Thanksgiving. I hope to see you next week on Pardo's Turn. Bye!
Wally Flynn, what a mess we're in. We are freaking out. Won't you come and save the day?